Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. I'm going to talk today about the Liberal Party network. Now, you may be wondering who the Liberal Party network are, or maybe not. I'll tell you in just a moment. Of course, the Liberal Party network are, oh my God, they're Sky News. And it's interesting that here in Australia, it's hard to find, we can criticise, and there's lots of criticism of the ABC as being seen as a little bit left. I don't necessarily see them that way. Maybe that's because I am on the left. But certainly Sky News are definitely packaged with a stack of right-wing propaganda, and in fact, I refer to them as the Liberal Party network, simply because they're advocating continually for the right, and particularly, obviously, the Liberal Party. So, and I think this is a travesty. I mean, sure enough, if you want to pay for the $5, whatever it is, just for Sky News, then a month go for it. I don't believe it's all that expensive. Here I am advertising them. It's a bit sad. But on the other hand, they need to be called out for what they are. Just like we need to call out any network that tends to take a political perspective as opposed to being what most journalists would call an apolitical perspective, whereby they simply assess what's happening, they feed you the facts, and we decide which way we're going to sit around those facts. Now, what I've done today, though, is I've taken an interview with Peter Dutton by Peta Credlin, and I've just taken her questions, because I want you to observe the type of questions that she asks, and they're not just leading, they are, but they're also about helping the interviewer to answer the questions favourably based on the way she goes about asking her questions. And I've got an example of that for you here, so I'll play that for you. Now, you make up your mind as to whether this is journalism or is it an opinion piece. It's after dark, so most of them are opinion pieces, and I accept that. Is it legitimate? And can someone tell me where in mainstream media do you have the same sort of response from the left? And like, where is that package, if you like, of left-wing media presenters who present in the similar fashion that they do on Sky News? So I'll play that for you, and we'll talk about it. It's only a couple of minutes. In fact, she took more time asking questions than Peter Dutton took answering them.
First, I want to stick with what we've seen in Melbourne with the opposition leader Peter Dutton today doing what the Prime Minister should have done, visiting the synagogue in the city. Joining me now is the opposition leader, Peter Dutton. Peter, welcome to the program. Thank you for your time. I want to start with a news poll today. Voters regard the Prime Minister as the weakest Prime Minister in decades. Now, are they right? And given the synagogue attack has now been declared a terrorism event, what would you have done differently? And it's not just offensive to Jewish Australians, Peter Dutton, it's offensive to all Australians. I understand you sought a briefing from the Australian Federal Police on Friday in the aftermath of this attack, but that briefing request was refused. Now, you've called for an urgent national security meeting. You called for that over the weekend. It didn't happen until today. I made the point at the top of the show, during Sydney's Lindt siege, I remember NSC meeting multiple times during that day and well into the night. That's not what's happened here. What's going wrong in Canberra? Oh, and not just the community. I mean, we've seen this picked up internationally. We've seen a rebuke from the Prime Minister of Israel and the President of Israel. I think many of our allies, the United States in particular, they feel abandoned by Australia on recent votes at the United Nations. I mean, is it as simple as this being seen through the prism of the Muslim vote in Labor electorates in Western Sydney in particular? Is it that simple? I want to move on to some other issues now, some general issues, but before I do, there seems to be some ambiguity with comments you made to my colleague Andrew Clennell that claimed somehow that you're walking away from your previous commitments about reducing the migration intake. Now previously you've said you'd cut the permanent intake to around 140, 160,000 people per year. Do you stand by this?
Credlin, I'm fascinated by the way she's sort of, I don't know the best way to describe it. She kind of demands, no, that's not the right word either. She puts forward an argument that fits with anything that he's going to say. So she feeds him with stuff that he can respond to that's favourable. There is nothing in her interview which is challenging, which questions what is done. And there's plenty of things that one could question about what Dutton's doing, whether it be the nuclear, his nuclear proposal and the costings on all of that. And I'm going to talk later on about his attitude towards Indigenous affairs and why he is becoming so toxic and why he's taking on a sort of a Trumpian approach to politics. I'll be talking about that later. So what do you think, though? I mean, is it fair? I guess if people pay for this stuff and they're prepared to pay whatever is required and they are on the right and this is the stuff that they enjoy and it's just feeding that bubble again, then I guess that's fine. But is it good journalism? Is it journalism at all? Because I don't believe that it is. And I think Peter Credlin has no proper credentials at all in terms of being able to present facts and informing people appropriately. Let me know what you think in the sections below, and please remember to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell for further notifications. In the meantime, stay tuned. Make sure you do subscribe and ring the bell for further notifications, and I'll contact and I'll be with you shortly. Again, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.